Hey, welcome to Cheaper Jeeper TV, the show that helps you get the most for your money so that you get the most for your Jeep. I'm Dino, your host. Glad to see you here. In this week's episode, we finally were able to make a reservation to go winter camping, so we're going to put together our winter camping gear. Come join us. Well, finally, with the COVID restrictions having eased up, I've been able to book a camping trip at an Ontario provincial park, and that'll be in our following video. But in this video, what we're going to do is assemble the camping gear that we think we're going to need, and maybe you might have some suggestions for me. So let's get started. Okay. As you see here, this is just the back of the stock Jeep, just with nothing in it at all. The first thing I want to do is add my camping sleeping platform. And now what you see is the sleeping platform loaded into the Jeep. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Dino, I still can see the back seats are up. That doesn't make much of a sleeping platform. But if you saw the design, build, and construction of the platform, you know that this is just kind of like a storage mode. You could still use it as a cargo platform where you could store things underneath and on top, but the seats fold and these pieces of wood on the top extend out to make the platform, and we're going to travel with the platform already installed, so let's do that now. Okay, so I've got the whole platform stretched out for sleeping, which is going to be the way I'm going to travel with it, but it does have the flexibility. You could travel if you have passengers like you're able to see. Let's have a look at how it's set up right now. You can see the pillow extension pieces are there, and I've got the 60 and the 40% pieces installed, and then there's the rear cargo platform area. And if we just come around to the side, you can see for this trip, I'm going to have the rear seats still in the Jeep because it's just going to be a quick kind of trial trip of the gear. And in the summer, you will have noticed how the rear seats were removed and how you could use it with just a 60% platform in there. So for this trip, the seat will be in there, which means there's just less storage, but it's just going to be me on this trip. When I do one with my wife, we'll probably take the seat out to store more things. Alright then, now let's put in the cushions. You can see there's Velcro on the edges to help keep these pillows together. So these hooks will join those loops, and this is for the next pillow. So there you have all the pillows in place, and that looks super comfortable. And there is a lot of storage under here for some more gear, which I'll be loading shortly. But since it's just me on this trip, I'm not going to put bedding down. I'm just going to use a sleeping bag. So there you go. So far, that's looking pretty comfortable. I'll get a pillow shortly, but I'm gonna start loading in some other things right now. Okay, first thing I want to load up is my nice 6-in-1 Coleman camping table. I'm gonna load it in behind the driver's side. And it just fits right here behind the driver's side passenger seat between the roll bar and the hardtop. Alright, so now what I want to do is pack the Hasika screen room tent. And that's just going to pack right over here up onto the roll bar. And it ends up also holding the camping table snugly in place as well. I'm just going to grab a bungee cord to secure it. So with the bungee cord around the roll bar, holding it snug there, and with my homemade DIY metal shelf bracket, it's in there nice and snug, and it also keeps the camping table nice and tight back there. Okay, so now I'm going to pack one of my camping chairs. Okay, this is a cheapo $8.50 fold-out camping chair that I got at Home Depot. You can get it at Canadian Tire, Walmart, online. That was Canadian. And when I designed the platform, I made sure I left spaces on both ends for items like this. And that's why there's a hole cut out at the end so that the legs can just poke through just enough to give me the clearance to shut the door. Let's have a look. If I wanted to, I could shove that in further and it'll just occupy the space where the back seat is. Okay, now I'm gonna get my nice propane camping stove. This is my Woods double burner propane camping stove. I used it in the summertime. What I like about it is that it gives me a large working surface to work on. If I have some pots, I want to make sure they don't tip over. And I don't like those single burners. For me, I'm likely to just knock it over. So I like this because of the wide surface, and it has a stainless steel catch pan underneath, which makes it easy to keep it clean. And yeah, so now I'm just going to store this under the platform. So that's kind of like one of the beauties of that platform. You could store large items like that way in there deep, and don't forget there's still storage on the other side of the platform where the back seats are. Okay, so what I have here is just a roll-out mat to put down outside the door. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I'll just bring it along. It doesn't take up much space. So you can see here, I still have tons of room just here in the cargo area for the camping utensils, some food, some clothing, and I still haven't touched the storage space at the front. Let's go get some more stuff. Okay, so now I'm gonna pack my snowshoes, snow poles, and I'm gonna have to go grab my skates and toss these back here too. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to bring along for my camping trip, it isn't something you have to have, but because I'm going to be running the diesel heater, I will want to charge my batteries and that sort of thing. I have a Jackery 500. Now technically it would fit in this spot right here, but I'm going to show you where I put it. Right back in there. So that's the space between the back seat on the driver's side and the driver's front seat. There's that piece of wood is the cross piece that supports the extended pillow pieces. So right below there, tucked back in there, is the Jackery 500. So At this point, I've got the sleeping platform, I've got the screen tent, I've got the 6-in-1 folding table, I've got my camp stove, I've got the jackery. What I don't have in here yet is the chuck box. Now the chuck box that I made, it's a great chuck box, and you can look at that video to see if it's something that might give you some ideas. However, I think now I'm going to redesign that chuck box because it doesn't fit in this space here. I want to make it so it fits into this space, so I can have my chuck box and stove and everything fit right here. That would be perfect. So I got to redesign it. So because it doesn't fit there, I'm going to be carting it on the rear cargo tray, which isn't too bad because I still need to use it because that's where I'm going to transport my diesel heater as well. And then shy of that, I just have to pack some food and clothes and put the cooler in the front seat, or I could just stand it up here. And then of course in the video next week when we're winter camping, you'll see how I utilize the back shelf here as well. Well, I hope you found that interesting. Now let's have a look at this week's tips. Now for some cheaper Jeeper tips. The best tip that I can give you if you're thinking of doing some winter camping and bringing along a heat source, make sure you test your equipment before you head out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the screen tent and connect it to the Jeep as well as the diesel heater just to see how everything is going to be working out. With the heater turned on and on high, I've got the splitter sending ductwork to the tent and the Jeep. You can see the quick connects on the panel. Power wire and controller wires are sandwiched between two pieces of duct tape to make a flat ribbon to get past the door. And the wires are plugged into the box with a 5-pin waterproof connector. The tent is set up with a table and a chair, but as you can see, there's room for more. One feature of the tent that I didn't cover in the tent review is that the flaps have patches of Velcro to help seal the edge. This will help keep out rain, or in our application now, keep the heat in. After about 20 or 30 minutes, we can now check out the temperature inside the Jeep and the tent. At about noon, the outside temperature is -3 degrees Celsius. Inside the tent, it's 24 degrees, and inside the Jeep, 21. And I'm pretty happy with that. If you're interested in a heater like this, you could always check the video. This unit came with a remote, so I'm going to use it to turn the setting to low. I'm going to slip the protective cap over the buttons to avoid inadvertently changing the settings. And then 30 minutes later on the low setting, the numbers are still maintaining. So all in all, I'm very satisfied with our test of the equipment. Everything seems to be functioning properly. So I guess we're ready to go on the camping trip next week. Hey, that's it for this week's episode of Cheaper Jeeper TV. I hope you found it interesting. We got to load up some of the equipment for our winter camping trip. We tested some of the equipment. I've tried positioning the tent in a few places to see what I'm going to try when we're actually camping. I even tested the heater on both units, the tent and the Jeep, and we saw how quickly both units got up to temperature. Now I'm just going to see how well it does on low, but the sun is setting and I didn't get to testing the solar panels. Maybe I'll fit that into next week's video. But next week's video is actually going to really address winter time camping activities. That's why if you haven't already, make sure you click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss it. Until then, I'm Dino for Cheaper Jeeper TV. Be well, stay safe, take care. Now let's have a look at this week's. Until the next time, I'm Dino for Cheaper Jeeper TV. Until the next time, I'm Dino. Until the next time, I'm Dino for Cheaper Jeeper TV. Be well, stay safe, take care. Okay. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Are you cold? You want to go inside? I'll take you.